Hi everybody. I have a new camera set up thanks to a friend of mine. I'm so excited. Although one of the downfalls of wearing glasses and trying to do anything virtually is that there's so much glare. Like in Zoom meetings and stuff, there's just like, I can see the light from the screen reflected in my glasses, so people can't really like see my eyes. I'll try to do better. I wanted to hop back on and speak briefly about surrender again, going more deeply into surrender. As a side note, I've just recently learned the skill of soul contract reading. So if anyone is interested in that, feel free to send me a message on Facebook, or you can leave a comment below. I don't really plan on charging, but if you want to trade services or something, I'm happy to do that. But anyway, one big thing that came up in my soul contract reading was that I need to trust in the flow of the universe, and I am lucky enough that my soul will really push me to do that in the position that it is in my chart. And it was honestly a really good reminder, because I just want to share a story without going into too many details. So I had an experience last weekend with my counterpart, and I knew that going into this activity, I kept getting the message that it was going to be really important, and I didn't really know why, and I was trying not to speculate why or come up with too many different scenarios, so I didn't create expectations that were unrealistic or just whatever. But of course my ego, or what I now understand as my ego, took this to mean that it was going to be really important, well, for us, but primarily maybe for him, because I have just seen myself as being like ahead on this journey. So I was wrong. I came back from this event probably more humbled than I ever have in my entire life. While we were hanging out, things were shifting, but I wasn't like fully aware of it. I just knew that something was really trying to work its way through me, and it reached a point where I felt like we weren't in the area where we live, so we had to drive home, and I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to contain or hold back my tears. I didn't really feel sad. If anything, I felt happy. I guess maybe a little sad that this like event had passed, and I had really been looking forward to it, and there's just a lot of buildup. So I was a little sad about that, I guess, but I felt like the emotions coming through me were really much deeper, and I still don't really know where they came from or what exactly triggered them, but I managed to make it home. I cried a tiny bit on the way home, but I think it was at a point that he wasn't paying it, he was talking or singing or whatever and wasn't paying much attention to me. And I was just kind of looking out the window, so, you know, I had tears in my eyes, but I wasn't crying. And I got home, and, well, actually, the moment he got out of the car, because we took my car, so the moment he got out of the car, and I pulled away, sobbing. I was, like, almost uncontrolled. Like, I probably shouldn't have been driving. And from all of the processing that I was working through that day and getting everything out, I just, like I said, I am so humbled because I feel like what happened was a huge heart reopening for me. And I just like to think that this event was important because it was important for me. And my ego hadn't even contemplated the fact that it could be important just for me. Was something I was not prepared for. And so in opening my heart, I was able to see him in a completely different way than I have in the past 5 years. We had a brief relationship, 5.5 years ago. And of course, at that time, everything activated for me. And then I think for both of us, our hearts must have, when we separated, our hearts must have kind of closed off. And I've loved other people since. I have so much love for people, but I can't express the emotions running through me, and the ability now with my heart open to see this person who for the last 5 years I've I wouldn't say demonized, but I certainly thought that he was the broken one, that he needed to do a lot of work, that he had a lot of healing, that I had so much to teach him, and I felt so foolish to have thought those things, because the experience that we shared together, while it, I guess, wouldn't qualify as us being in union, it was obviously an experience that was really important for my growth because it opened my heart, and I learned new things about him that I had been making really bad assumptions about, and I noticed my behavior with him. Honestly, that might have been even more important, because of lots of experiences I've had in my life, good and bad. I'm kind of a leader, even though I don't always want to be. I feel like I'm often put in that role, or through trial and error, I feel like the people who I would want to lead me, whether it's in relationships or at work or things like that, just aren't proving themselves to be strong enough to lead me, I guess. I wouldn't say that they're not capable, but I guess I don't trust them to lead me. And honestly, the past 5 years, I haven't trusted my counterpart to lead anything, because from the way that, with my heart being blocked, the way that I was seeing him proved to me that he couldn't be trusted. And this event that we went to really proved otherwise. it's astounding to me because it proved otherwise in ways that were nonverbal, I guess. He didn't sit down with me and say, hey, I'm aware of what our connection is, and I love you, and I want to protect you and lead you, and all of these things. He did all of that through action. And I just found myself naturally trusting him, wanting him to lead, enjoying not having to lead. And it brought me back to a place in time when we were together. And honestly, this was probably even better because at that point, I think even though we connected then, we were probably still operating a bit more out of ego than anything. But yeah, so that happened early in the week or last weekend, and over the course of the week, like I'm doing now, I can kind of tap into that feeling of humility and trusting that he's gonna lead, but it's something that I have to constantly remind myself of because it's not still like fresh there. So that's something I just wanted to, I guess, share with everybody is that the struggle to surrender is real. It's, for those of you who know what this feels like, I can only say that I stand with you. I don't yet have the answers as to truly how to, truly know how to surrender. I feel like I did in that moment when we were together and then the next day processing, but since then it feels like my energy reverts back to old habits. I think if we were together again, it probably would be easier, but I have had this week, I've had thoughts of like, oh, I just listened to this great video on masculine and feminine and like how they're meant to like help and support each other, and I would love to share that with him, and maybe that'll be the thing that reminds him that he wants this. And it's just so manipulative in I hate to say, I guess kind of a selfish way, although I don't like to think about that, and it's not intentionally manipulative. But it is. And it just shows the universe that I think I know better how to navigate than it does. And I also heard something in meditation, in a guided meditation I did earlier this week, where if you try to control all of the details, that doesn't leave any room for surprises. And so here I am being vulnerable, sharing with you my struggles with surrender, but hopefully the more that I sit with it and talk to people about it and remind myself I need to surrender to the flow of things, without needing a certain outcome to be happy, the easier it will get. So I think that's it for today, but I'd love to hear feedback, or if you have similar experiences, please feel free to share this video if you think it would resonate for somebody, even if their story is not the same as mine. I think there are a lot of people that struggle with surrender, especially, well, men and women, but I was going to say especially women, but Yeah. So until next time, I love you guys, and I will see you hopefully very soon.